Right guys, so today I'm going to be doing a rant on the current affairs of Inverness. It has been shocking and the season itself has been absolutely shocking. I am speechless to what I can say. To be honest with you, like, I'm still in shock, I'm still deeply disappointed. I actually still remember when we got relegated back in 2009. I was at that game against Falkirk and I feel worse. I genuinely feel worse now. I don't know what to say. It's been an absolute shambles from the first pre-season friendly that we had, and obviously the appointment of Richie Foran. So what can we say? The moment that Foran was appointed, just like every other fan, they were skeptical. I was skeptical. I was excited because he'd done quite a lot for us as a captain, but at the same time, he's got zero experience in managing in the top flight of Scotland. I mean, there's one thing leading on the pitch, it's completely different leading off the pitch, from the sideline, setting a team up, training them, going through tactics that you think is going to work. I mean, when you're a captain, you're given tactics to do, so you're good as a captain because you're only as good as your coaches. Now, I can't really question his efforts in the transfer window because the transfer window was pretty good. We signed some good players, although they probably didn't play up to their potential in the season. We did sign some good players like Cole, Rennie, and Brad Mackay. We took Billy Mackay back. The squad selection was poor. We didn't play the right formations that suited our players. Towards the end of the season, we played 4-1-4-1, and that suited us down to the ground. 2 wins out of that. I don't know why we waited until the end of the season to actually perform. So we're finished 1 point off relegation playoff and 3 points off actual safety, but it took us the end of the season to decide that it actually means something. From the first kickoff at the start of the season, it should mean something. Although we're not title challengers, we should be at least thinking about finishing in the top 6, considering the seasons that we have had in recent times. Weiger's starting in the majority of these games is completely questionable to me. Used to be good for us, like at one point fans were chanting his name, loving him, but then he just got worse and worse. But Foran picked him, I can only assume because he wasn't a bad apple. I mean, we've got centre halves that are solid and strong, and we're playing Jamie McCart and Louis Lang at the back. It's just weak. It's very weak. He didn't pick certain players due to the fact that they were bad apples, but it's funny how those bad apples came in at the end of the season and actually put a shift in. They put more of a shift in than all the other players did all season, and we came out with results. Like, there's suspicion that Alex Fisher was one of those bad apples, and they were arguing constantly, but he came in, he scored 5 goals in 6 games, and he finished the club's top scorer that season. What does that say for you? He should have been playing from the start of the season. He would have scored a lot more goals. It annoys me because watching the club all season, there's been absolutely no passion. There's been no commitment. There's no desire. The urgency, it's just not there. And I just don't think these players are fit enough to pull on our shirt. They all think they're better than the club. If they were better than the club, we wouldn't be relegated. It's as simple as that. They just need to face facts that they were poor. I mean, we've had a few good players. Tansy's off to Aberdeen. I just felt like as soon as that was announced, he just didn't care. There's a few games he was slack. There was a few games that he actually performed really well. It was inconsistent, just like the rest of the team. Completely inconsistent. But obviously, you can't build a team without a budget. And our board did not provide us with a budget. The board provided zero help. The board provided no help at all. They watched us go from the most successful team that we have ever been in our club's history, from finishing 3rd place, qualifying for Europe, winning the Scottish Cup, to going to relegation. And they've done nothing. They've stood back and watched that happen, and it's heartbreaking as a supporter, considering every single supporter that turns up that season has paid their hard-earned cash to go and watch the team, and all they've been confronted with is an absolute shower of shite. The ones that have turned up have been rock solid all season, especially the youth little ultras that go to the games. They've sung their heart out, they've travelled. Obviously they showed their frustration at the end of the season when we were relegated. They were on the pitch, they were chanting, saying sack the board. Only problem is, who's going to sack the board? The only way that they're going to leave is if they resign. But What's upsetting is that the board stood there, looked down from their windows and laughed. They were laughing at our fans. They were laughing at the fact that we were frustrated. They didn't care, because at the end of the day, all the money they make off ticket sales and shirt sales goes straight into their pocket. The money that they're meant to be funding into the club, it doesn't get funded because we don't have a wage budget big enough to support big players. That's why we keep losing big players. We don't have a wage budget or a transfer budget to bring players in, hence why we keep signing free transfers from the conference or free transfers from the Irish third division. I mean, I'm not slating Dean Ebb. I think he's played well for the under-20s, but these ain't signings that we need to be making considering the situation we were in at the time. It's a shame because like the money does just go straight into Kenny Cameron's pocket. I wasn't going to say this because it might have got someone I know in trouble, but the club had a chance to hand over control to another buyer, a secret buyer, who was going to fund the club, but they rejected. And when I say the club, I say Kenny Cameron rejected it. And he's sat back, and it's almost like selfishness. He's thought, well, I'm not going to make any money, am I, from the club if I sell on? And to be honest with you, the way the club's going, you're not making any money at all. Our average attendance was about 2,000–3,000 anyway, and next season I don't see us getting a crowd. We'll get the usuals, right? But you'll be lucky if we even fill the ground once. You'll be lucky if we even get so much as 2,000 into the stadium. People say that we're being too hard on Foran. Foran shouldn't be sacked, he should be given another chance. After witnessing what we witnessed all season, I don't know how you can say that. I genuinely don't know how you can come out with something like that. Yes, the responsibility comes down equally to the players as well as the coaching staff, but the players are only as good as the tactics they're set up to play, the training that they receive. Most of these players played last season and they played well under John Hughes. They come in to Foran's leadership and they don't play well. That only says something about the coaching staff, doesn't it? The only problem is Foran he's an angry man. He's straight to the point, which is good, but it's not good. There's pros and cons of that. He argued with way too many players. When players get frustrated at the fact that they're being argued with, they're going to seem like bad apples. If I was getting shouted at for something that is completely out of my hand, I would argue back. It's a shame because the more you argue with your players, the more unhappy they're going to be. If you're arguing with good players, they're going to want to leave. We're going to end up losing quite a few good players in the transfer window. They're going to be out of contract, or they're going to terminate the contracts and go elsewhere. Team morale has been low. Team chemistry has been poor because most of the players on the pitch didn't really know each other. A lot of lone players in there. I think that's where we suffered, to be honest. Some people might agree, some people might disagree with me, but I'm just speaking from my point of view. I live in England, but every Saturday I put on Sports Sound and I listen to the commentary because I can't be there. Every time I come home, I go to a game, like home or away. Depending on how long I'm up in Scotland for, I will go to games, and if there's 3 or 4 games in that time that I'm up, I'll go to all 3 or 4 of those games. I'm saddened. I feel defeated. I feel let down. Players, you can tell, are very frustrated. They've put a lot in, but at the same time, it just looks like they haven't really bothered. I'm 21 years old. I've been going to the game since I was 6 years old, and I had a season ticket up until I moved down to England, and I've supported the club all my life. So to see this happen twice is again, speechless. I'm speechless. A few months ago, the fans even, we knew we were going to get relegated. We didn't have any hope because of the way players were acting on the pitch, and we start deciding we're going to release youth players, which I don't think it's anything to do with their talent. I think it's down to budgeting. The board especially. There's a lot of youth players that were released that are absolutely fantastic players. They've just been released because it's a budgeting issue. We could have done with those players in the championship, give them a chance to play. You never know, because you got the likes of Nick Ross and Ryan Christie that's come through the youth setup and they've gone on to do really well. Polworth, for example, as well, he's done well for us. And some of these players could have been the next Polworth or the next Ryan Christie, but we didn't give them a chance because now they've been released. I could go on all day about the state of the club. I could, and there's a lot of fans out there who have posted blogs like North Stand Rising, for example. They're a very good source and they've got a lot of opinions, which is great. I've had actually a few chats with the person who runs the page, and he is a nice guy and he's passionate, and that's what you like to see. So yeah, basically I'm just going to go through the players that I would keep at the club for next season, starting with Alex Fisher, obviously, Fon Williams, because we need a keeper, Brad Mackay, Carl Tremarco, Warren, Meekings, who's out of contract, Mulroney, Polworth, Draper. I didn't see enough of Anir, but I think he has potential, so I'd like to keep him at the club. Dean Ebb, I would keep him because he's young, and seeing how he performed for the under-20s, keep him in. Daniel Holbin and Cameron Mackay, keep them. They're good keepers. I've actually watched Holbin since under-13s because I've been watching my brother since then, and he was part of the players released by the under-20s. That was more than good enough to probably play in the first team, in my opinion, not being biased, but he's a good player. And then having a look at the players that are out of contract from other clubs this season, I'll list a few players that I would sign for our club next season. From Hamilton, Skondras, David Amu. I take Nick Ross back. There's Henrik Oyama as well, I take him in. I would take Cammy Smith, David Templeton, Jordan McGee, and Sam Nicholson, Lionel Ainsworth, Alex Schalk from Ross County. Well, they're our rivals, but he's a good player in my opinion, and he's out of contract, so I would take him in. Anyway guys, I'm going to end that there because I went on for a lot longer than I expected to. But yeah, that was just a rant about how I think the season's gone and how I'm not happy about it. Rightly, I shouldn't be happy about it. No one wants to see their club relegated, and I'm sure a lot of other fans would agree with me. So if you like this video, please share it, because maybe people at the club might see it. Don't forget to subscribe because that would help me a lot. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you later.